What is going on, everybody? You're back with me, Friendly Liamki, and today we're going to do a completely different and special video with me. So if you like the content and you like what I do, please definitely give me a like and subscribe and share this with your friends. But let's get right into it. So today we're going to be doing our Starlight drive in uh, Deacon is just interrupting me. So today we're going to be doing the Starlight drive-in settlement build of mine. So as you guys can see, we're approaching it from the south. Yeah, south. And the first thing that you really notice are these turbines up on the old roof of that structure. And now I figure, okay, they're at a pretty central location for this northern sector of the map. And they are just really in between about 3 aeroplane crashes. So I figured that these turbines would have been available for this build. So the whole idea of the build is that it actually is a chosen location from one of the control vaults, like Vault 76. And that the previous inhabitants, they in fact came out of their vault and they saw this giant sign, or the movie projector screen, and they must have thought, wow, this is a brilliant place to actually begin the construction of a fort. So yeah, the idea of the turbines is that it's actually from around the wreckages, from around the area. Now as you guys can see, our entrance, we have 2 main gates, one of which is closed off. Our provisioners, I don't know why they're not loading in, but it really does bug me when they interrupt me. So yeah, you can see that they're not loading. It is in fact a central position. If we go over here, you can see that it is like a hub. And right now we have 40 settlers, which I will explain how I got that in a moment. And they have a 61% happiness, so that's good. Oh gosh, we're auto-saving, and this settlement destroys my frame rate, as you guys can see. So if we move through the entrance phase, you guys will notice that there are a couple of temporary structures for non permanent settlers. So the idea is that they're either traders from different parts of the Commonwealth coming here to trade or to get experience in a certain almost field, like artisans would, or they are in fact coming here to move here, but there's no actual place yet, so they are in fact waiting to actually build their permanent structure. Now if we move through here, there's a southerly wind, so I figure that this was just perfect. As we move through here, you can see that this is our residential bar area. Now the bar area, it's quite special. I like to say that, at least. We've got our vendor over here. You can see he's busy getting harassed by the 2 police protectrons. They are all individually made. And at night, oh bless you dog, at night our settlers will come through here and they'll have a seat and they'll have a drink and they'll have some really good laughs and funs and tell stories of the day, and there'll be drama and all types of things will happen over here, you know. So this is like a relaxation point of the actual settlement. Now to our right we have our farming build. Now let me just go around and outside here. You know, you can see how they've got a couple of small crops growing over here. And they've actually got a couple of tanning hides, because they're so close to the outside they actually go out hunting quite often. And you can see how they've got a small crops happening and a little campfire, so it's all good and well. Again, we have more campers on this side. They see this wire fence as a protection, and they act as a buffer zone for the rest of the settlement, so they do not mind it. If we move around this tree over here, you can really get a nice glimpse. Oh, that's a really good glimpse. You guys can really capture in the farming aspect. So the idea was that we had I originally had this idea of having a large connected almost warehouse type feel, but then I decided to actually fragment it and cut away pieces and begin to actually like cut it up. So you can see how over here we've got a
The farm's
huge guy in a dress. apart from that, hey, well, however you want to farm, bro. So yeah, we've got experimental crops. So we're seeing if these crops can actually grow in the area. You know, because it doesn't make sense that you would just plant and then hope for the best. You know, you would actually grow what works for the area. Here we have a small farming shed that's actually been cut back, and it's because they require less space than the mute fruits. So these potato crops are actually a lot more space efficient, but these yield more food. So we figured we would just pop it back a little bit, have a little breather walking through here. It really does break the space. As you can see, inside of here, it's really dense. It's best to look at it from this side. He's hoeing through the wall.
I know how the big one started. What idiot fired first? Why?
And then if we move up here, so you can see how they've got a couple of water features here and there. Wherever there's a water feature, a man, usually a homeless person, would in fact sleep there, because he's got a roof over his head there. He's busy building up the rest of the shack. Well, I don't want to say. They are shacks. I mean, look at this man. He's building up the rest of his dwelling, and by God, he's not going to give up that piece of land at all. So he's left his sleeping bag. He's probably out there collecting materials as we speak. So up top here, you can see that it's a little bit more less dense, mostly because of the height. So that's achieved through the height. A little bit of subtle architecture lesson there. Height makes things feel bigger and more open. And the idea is that this is a backup. So we've got, you know, you have these indoor crops and it's all good and well, but then if something happens inside of one of these rooms, you've got these 5 other things on standby. So you can actually get a pretty good glimpse of the fort that the controlled vault would have made. Let's move on down the steps real quick like. So you guys can see how we've got a couple of vendors over here. So this is our local armor merchant. Now a really big thing about this settlement is that in the center they've repurposed the courtyard to be an actual arena. Because throughout the Commonwealth's years, people have grown really angry, and that's turned to people going to become raiders and such. So my solution as the General of the Minutemen and the leader of the Free Commonwealth is that we have these arena battles, and the arena battles, in fact, they persuade people to let go of those anger, I want to say those anger issues, but those urges to be violent. They let that go through watching the arena gladiator matches. So it's a little bit regressing back to like 300 AD Rome, but it works. You know, people are happy, they're living, we're not being attacked by raiders, because raiders are actually coming in and probably living in these tents going, okay, well, we don't have to raid anymore, we can just observe the gladiator fights and get our stress out that way. So this is our local armor merchant. His name is Dave. He, as you can see, he's either picked up or traded with the arena combatants for armor pieces. And that is what he specializes in selling, is armor pieces. Over here we can see my player home. I'll go through that in a moment. This is our local general goods trader. Her name is Sarah, without the H, so it's S-A-R-A, no H. She's quite adamant about that. And you can see how she stocks like random general goods items and quite a fair share of weapons. She normally does not engage with the gladiator matches, as her best timing for sales is during those matches, because that's when the most people will gather around, you know. So it only makes sense that Sarah would stay open. And you can see how she's a firm believer in the BOS. Yeah, she's a firm believer in the BOS, man. She backs them completely. If we move on along around here, here we can pass Dave. And you can see how each merchant has actually got a living quarters fairly close to them, so that they can actually, in fact, live fairly close to their vendor stalls. So over here we've got our outside weapons merchant. Now This is Henry. Henry, he enjoys weapons ever since he was a small child. He was orphaned when a couple of raiders had took out his parents, so he picked up one of the dead raiders' pipe pistol and managed to kill 7 raiders. So after competing in the gladiator arena for a couple years, he retired and now he's opened up this weapon store because he's really, really good at fiddling around with weapons and their individual components and reorganizing them and making better super weapons, you know. So as you can see, he's got his own little store. He's doing quite well. He's not a level 3 merchant because I figure he's only been doing this for... This is not his passion. His passion is killing, it's guns. But it's not selling them, you know. So he's only a level 2 vendor. This is Dave's passion though. He's completely all in, man. He's got a level 3. And you can see how Sarah's got a level 1. Level 1 because, you know, she does well, but it's not what she loves to do. She wants to move on one day, so hopefully she can have her own little piece of land outside in the Commonwealth. Maybe a little bit away from here, but not too far that it's unsafe. Over here we can see our local water production. So we've got our pumps that are draining from this radioactive water, and then pumps that are actually machining the water from down below. Over here we have our residential power armor our power armor expert. So you can see how he will you'll come with him, you'll come to him with your power armor, and you'll say, listen, I need you to fix up my helmet. And he'll go, okay, cool. He specializes in power armor refurbishment and yeah, refurbishment. And so he will fix up your power armor. And I figure that the best thing to actually have out here is a raider power armor, because he would, you know, it's for just general settlers and residents of the Commonwealth, so you wouldn't really find them walking around with either T45, T51 or T60 or even X01. You would not find that. So the raider power armor, you know, that's post-war invention. So I figure that would be the most common thing that he would be working on. So he's really good at it. So you can actually see how I've stocked it with the level 2 welded plate power armor. You know, and that's intentional. Here we have a set of Minutemen. So they were actually on standby because they had a call last night that Tenpenny's Bluff actually had an incident with some gunners. So they returned, and after that, they just figured they would just kind of stay up for their day shift. So they're on standby, waiting for a flare from that tower. Once that they see the flare coming out of the tower, they will then turn their heads to the sky, and they will move around to the other flare in the sky. So these are combatant Minutemen. So the way the Minutemen work is, gladiators will suss out the weak. That's just the way it is. You know, only the best survive. So these guys are actually, in a way, that these guys are actually training Minutemen, you know. So that's the idea of it, that they are in training and they don't want to go out to the field, you know, so they can go out to the field. It's totally an option, but usually most of the time they get killed because then they're just cadets. So they have the option of training in the gladiator arena for a couple years, and if they live, they can move on to go and defend the rest of the Commonwealth. Over here we have our residential Brahmin. So I bet you guys are wondering, why is he in the middle of the way there? Why is there a basketball hoop over there? What is that thing? What is this? So the idea behind the Brahmin is he needs sunlight. He's not some nocturnal little owl that sits in a corner, you know. He's a Brahmin. He's used to being outside in fields, and he's being domesticated. However, we can't have him in the fields because that's dangerous. So we'll have him inside of the main settlement's bluff zone. I call this the bluff zone because it's a raider would, if a raider was to run in here, he would get flat, almost like flabbergasted, and go, where should I go next? So it's the bluff zone. It's they bluff into the raiders. So he in effect eats outside there, and then he walks around in here to sleep. The way that I figure this would work is 200 years after the nuclear apocalypse happens. I don't think people will know what that is, you know? So I figure, why not use it for milking? You know, this thing, I'd be like, well, that will fit perfectly in there, pal. Let's use that. Then you would walk your Brahmin over there, slap his utter inside there, and just milk him to town, man. Wouldn't you, pup? This is my little doggy. Yes, he is. So if we move around the town over here, we can actually see the farmer. That's not the farmer. That's where his family lives. So they're quite a large family. These are in fact my lieutenants, if I'm not incorrect. Yeah, Red is lieutenant in the local area.
Actually, I'll be back later.
Standing down.
Yeah, so the red robots are my lieutenants of the garrison. The orange one would be the captain, and white are the guards. So that is the way I've structured that. So these, the farmers who do live here, the human farmers, they farm the Brahmin. They care to him, they do all of those needs. This is our local hairdresser. I know, it's spiffy, right? So the idea is that you could get your haircut while you watch TV, and you can see these pop culture signs. So these people can't read. So these signs, they just look fancy, man. They just draw your attention like, wow, there's a red sign. And the idea is that while you wait to get your haircut, you could watch TV as well. If we move around here, we can see a small park waiting area, and we can see the power shed over here. To match that, we have our church. That's right, and we can even see a couple of Minuteman cadets inside of the church as we speak.
Yeah?
So you can see how I've tried to structure the church in such a way that it's okay, fellas, I'll go around you, yeah?
Hi, how are you?
So you can see we don't have any pews in this game, so I figure these benches, they'll work. And I've actually used an old dresser shelving, to kind of act as the podium. I don't know what the priest uses, I don't know what it's called. And you can see his living quarters over here. It's not too much. You know, it's a lot of storage for his clothes, and there's a workspace for him to write out letters. And I figure that water is all irradiated in this post-apocalypse world. So a cradle would be a substitute for baptism.
Yes?
You know,
Yeah?
we're Baptists. I'm sorry, I'm not Christian. Let's just close the doors. They're obviously visiting church because they know we're about to have an NPC battle. So that's pretty interesting. If we move along here, we can actually see more of the power shed, and you can see how it's being taken advantage of. This is our Fallout 3 Easter egg pond. Now, it's a really essential attraction. It's meant to break the space quite a bit, and it's meant to serve as almost like this underground level of this footbridge that leads into our main tower. So this is our Fallout 3 Easter egg to Megaton, and yeah, it's just meant to be an Easter egg, and I quite like it because it's like there's this bomb. It's right next to this puddle of water, and in Megaton Fallout 3 there was a bomb in water, so yeah. These are a couple of low-end shacks, so you can see how they kind of populate around the pool of water here. Over here we can in fact see our non-residential shopkeeper. So this guy, he's actually from our Vault 81. That's right, guys. We have a representative of Vault 81 out here at our Starlight Drive-In. And you can see how they're promoting clean, homegrown crops, scavenging materials that would be unobtainable through usual methods, and pre-war technology. So that's the idea of this small vendor store.
You know what I call a good day?
And that's why
One that ends without
they've
an
situated like this. And she's dressed up in Commonwealth clothes because she doesn't want to stick out too much. But she's still a Vault dweller, and she's still under the protection of Vault 81 through the Commonwealth's 2089 deed that no one shall be harmed under the General Billy Assface. If we move along here, we can see more campers, and I've set them up outside here as well. You know, so there's guys who couldn't... So the idea is that some of these almost non-permanent settlers would have pitched tent on this side, and then they would have actually come through and been like, "Nah, you're distracting completely. Please move," and they were forced to move. So they figured they would just move on this side of the wall, which is a little bit dangerous, but it acts as like a first line of bluff. You know, it's our first line of bluff, and then we have our second line of bluff, then we have our fort. So it works out quite nicely. And a lot of medieval settlements and castles work the exact same way. You know, so you would have these tents and informal living conditions around the more formal conditions, and you'd have the main you know, settlement or castle or keep, you know. So that's, I understand, and I know where that comes from. This is our residential tailor. As you can see, he specializes in making pre-war clothing, mostly dresses. He loves
Don't
doing
much care
dresses.
for good neighbor.
He also has
nothing
found
but
a couple of BOS and Institute armor pieces. Quite interesting. He must have happened across a recently battle that must have taken place. And you can see how he's busy tanning some hides now, and he's going to turn that into fabric. So yeah, that's pretty neat. That's his living stall over there. You can see how this is where what I was talking about, that if there's a place where there's a piece of roof overhead, there's normally an informal living person, homeless person over there, which is totally fine. We accept them in, and they can enclose the area if they wish, or they can just carry on sleeping the way they are. So these guys, because they're not, get off his mattress or her mattress, man. That's just wrong. So they're probably out right now gathering supplies to build up the rest of their living quarters. So over here we've got our junk store merchant, another one to match Sarah. Oh, I haven't been saying their names. Okay, it's okay. I'll go back with their names. So this is Johnny. Johnny, he likes watching the battles, needless to say, but he's also really good at scavenging for, I want to say, merchandise. Yeah. And he also does a lot of trading with outside traders, so you can see how he's got some really high-end stuff here. He's got spiked armor, he's got raiding power armor, he's got robot armor. You know, so he's definitely diverse, and he's got these pre-war paintings, pre-war junk, Deathclaw hands. He's got a flame, he's got an Institute rifle, for God's sake. That is some ingenious ways, almost, of like collecting junk. You know?
Hi, how are you?
Here we have Minuteman cadets who are actually on standby for their newest approach to aid in a settlement. So a settlement would send up a flare. They would send up the flare there to let all of our Minutemen know that we're about to send out squads. And our armored ranger division, which is actually by the resting park point on the other side of the Megaton pond, they are in fact waiting to aid and take these guys along with them. So this would be their first engagement. And you can see our artillery piece over here. The idea is that if it gets compromised, it gets compromised. You know, no one else, no raiders know how to use this technology in the Commonwealth, you know? So, oh, looks like they're on the move. No, they're just having a local chat. So there's no danger of just kind of having it out in the open, but we will relocate it eventually on like a Brahma train. But anyways, if we move through, yeah. His name is Gary.
Yeah? Huh?
Her name is Jessica. But Jessica with a K.
Yes?
She doesn't know how to spell her name properly.
Everything seems to be proceeding according to plan, sir.
Yes?
This is Kristen. Our local pastor, his name is Sean.
We have the entire
Sean with an
Commonwealth
H
to
though.
explore. Where should we go next? Whatever it is we're out here looking
That's
for,
Ben.
I'm certain
He's the
we'll find it
bartender
soon.
around here. And if we move up to
It's
our
astounding how
actual
much we
fort
still have to
entrance,
discover out
you
here.
can see these are the ranges I was speaking about. They are hardcore. See that Minuteman, Armored Ranger. They do not be, you do not trifle with them. They will just destroy you. So this is our satellite array, which not only attracts new settlers, but it also sends out TV signals. So you can see this
My
is the
systems are
entrance of
continuing to
our
function
fort,
at
and I'll do
peak
2
efficiency.
entrances to this actually. I'm gonna walk inside now in daytime, and I'll do one at night as well. Now I'll probably do one without the lights on as well. Yeah. You can see how we've got our decontamination walkway, so that no one walks in your irradiated. And it also serves as a double purpose, which I'll explain in a little bit. You can see when we walk in, it's not as intimidating as it was outside. We've got quite a heavy influence of public seating area over here. And if we move over this way, we can actually see the gladiators' armor pen. So this is where they can arm themselves with weapons and armor gear and everything that they might need in the fight ahead. They have the option of power armor, but they have to bring in the frame themselves. So we don't mind supplying the power armor pieces if they can bring in the frame. However, it makes them quite a large target. Over here we actually have our first team waiting area and sleeping area.
Hi, how are you?
So this is the place where they would modify their weapons and they would actually modify their armor right before a match, and they could really mess around with their stuff, you know, and they can actually sleep here. So each team is comprised of 5 people. As you can see, the 4 beds over there against the bed, and then 1 for their leader, their captain. Over around here we've got our chem lab and our armor bench, and a little inspiration of one of the greatest gladiators who ever lived, Grognak. The use of chems in the games is actually forbidden, but it's not a legal forbidden, it's illegally forbidden. It's on the lowdown, you know. So they can use drugs, but it's not. Competitors and viewers see it as bad fighting. You know, it should be a fair match. These are the waiting benches. You can see how it's got 6 seats, not 5. The reason for that is that the manager of the team would sit here and prep his guys and wait. He'd enter the ring first with his team. Maybe there's a little guard dog station as well if they have a guard dog. It's not unheard of. If we move through here, quite fast paced. This is a complete public realm, you know. This is where the public would come, they'd sit and they'd watch this from this side. This is where the winners are announced on the Commonwealth TV. So you can see how we've got this system happening over here that would record. And you can see if we walk over here, this is what people in the Commonwealth would see. They'd see the announcer speaking into the speaker that, okay, the Minutemen have won, and then the 5 competitors, hopefully 5, if none have died, and the manager would sit in those chairs, and then the viewers of the supporting team would actually sit here and they would applaud. And this is so that no one can miss it from the other settlements. So surrounding settlements, surrounding settlements like all of these that are connected to them would in fact travel to Starlight to observe this. However, if we look over here to like the Lighthouse and Kroopmanur, Finch Farm, Country Crossing, the Slug, Green Top, all of these settlements, they're too far, you know, and they don't want to miss out on the match, so they would in fact tune in, at which point they can actually watch as a sport. And you can see it's quite big in the castle as well. Okay, well, what's a saving again? This is the second team's living quarters and modification den. I haven't really come up with a name yet. Leave a comment down below what you guys think we should call these areas for the gladiator teams. Because they sleep here, they do their modifications here, you know, they prep for their matches here. So leave a comment down below what you think we should call it. So again, power armor modification. The team leader would have a separate bed. The managers would actually sleep above us. So this is only the first floor, and you can see how both teams have got this switch base for the door that they would then enter into. And you can see a little bit of the arena there. I'll expose it from the clean out crew's perspective in a moment. If we move up along here, we can in fact see a little bit more of the permanent residents. So these guys, they pay for a room here. You know, it's not an enclosed room, but they pay for a room. So yeah, through paying for a room, they not only receive a desk, but they also receive a proper made bed. And you can see how this Brotherhood of Steel representative would have paid more because he's with the Brotherhood of Steel. So the Brotherhood of Steel would have paid for this in fact. But these guys are open to anybody with the caps. You can see how it's got a nice large open living area. A couple of small seaters so they could all sit down. This is a slightly more cheaper den. It's mostly for parents and small families. You can see how we've got a small infant room. The idea is the infant room is quite close over here to the clinic. So this is the only settlement. Because it's a hub, it needs to have a clinic. So this is our local pre-war doctor. And you can see how he's in fact got an entire small clinic happening here, along with a small emergency surgery operation room. The idea is that, you know, they're having frickin' gladiator matches down there, man. People lose arms and feet and legs and everything down there, you know. So to have a clinic nearby, it's only compulsory in my good opinion. You know, it's not a full-blown hospital. If a case is too bad, they will in fact head to Country Crossing, which is not constructed at the moment, but it is in fact going to be the next hub. So Country Crossing and then the castle, they are going to be the next two hubs. And I'm in two phases about actually making a Uberland station a hub as well. You know? But leave a comment down below what you guys think. Should we make Uberland a hub as well or not? So this is just a small clinic. All the larger settlements do have clinics. If we move through here a little bit quicker, we can actually see a small waiting reading area. And it's mostly for the people themselves. So there's not really an option to view the gladiator match from over here. This is more of a living area space. So the Minutemen almost fell in Concord in episode 1 and 2. Episode 2, I believe it was. In episode 2, we rescued the last of the Minutemen from the Museum of, well, America, I guess. Museum of Freedom, I think it was. I don't remember. So we actually sent out a raiding party to go and collect a couple of memorabilia from the walls there. And the idea is to have these pictures of great men up there, but then it's not to remind people that great men make a difference. It's to remind people that they can make a difference if they follow the general, me, in such a way that through following me, we're doing good for the Commonwealth. So that's why it's kept to this almost like 1700 look as well. Down this way we can see our second tier of the observation deck of the gladiator match. You can see it's a lot more comfortable, a lot more fancy, a lot more clean and open. The reason is that this isn't public realm anymore, you know. These are for the settlers that live and pay for these rooms. A dormitory for the Minutemen cadets and Minutemen officers. You know, why put officers by cadets? I bet you're asking, but the reason is they're all fighting the same army. They're all the same people. Higher ranking officers, dens, small kitchen, dining room area, and little lounge area. Now these two. These two are incredibly important guys. This guy, he monitors the radio, making sure that nothing bad happens in the Commonwealth. He's a ghoul, as you can see, and he's kind of looking at his neighbor's stuff. But he doesn't want to be seen, even though he's got a wall missing. stupid friend. So, this is in fact our two main officers of the settlement. So the idea is that they would have their own personal seats to watch the gladiator match. You can see how they've got a clean view of the opposing team.
Yes?
As you can see, it's quite a nice view. You can see directly into my player home. They overlook the town, so that's pretty nice as well. They can defend from this point if they need to. As we move up here, we can in fact walk into the guard garrison area. So around here, you can see. Up. Around here is the actual fortification layer. So that's what I call this area. Is that we have these guard stations every 3 or so panels over. And they have guards on them most of the time. I have them deactivated. And these guys, they're dummies, as you can see. And it's to throw off anybody who does attack the settlement. So there are mannequins everywhere inside of Fallout 4. So I figure, why wouldn't you take a couple of these mannequins, put them up on your settlement to make it look like guards, and then you'd have less of a chance of a raider sniper actually killing you and instead hitting one of these things, if they're not too smart. But that's the thinking behind it. So it's actually a tactical decision, and it makes the settlement look and feel a lot more lively. At a spot where people are most likely to attack, you know. As we move through here, we can in fact see our tower defense. So this overlooks everything. So you can see up here, all the guards are in fact robots. So all those white robots and the red robots that you were seeing, they actually occupy the guard posts, and they are the protection layer. So you can see here, this is our residential warden officer. So he overlooks here, also listening to the radios, same as our residential officer. However, he's more in charge of what's going on with this fortification. As we move up through here, we can see how they've got additional ammunition up here at the guard stations. Minimal lighting from these pieces. This is our captain. Yep, guardian captain. He's also the only one with the claw for a right hand.
Factory default mode recognized.
He's also got a different helmet, as you can see. He earned his stripes. So he wasn't created along with the other privates. He was created post-settler inclusion of the settlement, and he earned his stripes through being a gladiator. And after a while, he was killing so much that they decided to just pull him off, because the games were actually becoming uninteresting, because he would just always win. You've got a couple of sparks coming out your toes, lady. And so he, in fact, he's now captain of the guard here, because why would you have someone like that risking his life in the arena when he can be defending you all the time, you know? As you can see, the top layer over here, they've got a complete 360, man. Like, if I pull out my weapon here, I can just see a complete north, east, and west here. It's absolutely gorgeous. And even to push it, I can see the south as well, even though the south has got the bluff zone. So there's a lot of friendlies down there. But you can see how we've tried to include this giant wall against it as a solid barrier, almost like a Diamond City type move. If we move down here without falling, because we will die, is 4 stories drop. You can see our robot creation lab. Underneath us is in fact the arena. So the idea is that anything that is a flying creature cannot escape here. It has happened to me multiple times. If we move through here, this is the garrison's guard weapons and armor modification den, and you can see how we've got an employment of another power armor specialist. So this guy, he specializes in the guard's power armor, not raiding power armor like you saw down there. So he's not open to the public. He's open to the garrison only, and that's what his passion is. You can see his entire workstation here. Looks like he's got a little bit more of a personal job happening over here. Happens to us all, I guess, right? if we move through
I
the
need to get
space
back
over
to
here,
Diamond
this
City
is just an
one of these
extra
days.
storeroom.
Biggest town I ever
It's
saw.
nothing. It's more of a bomb shelter than anything else. So if a creature does get loose inside of the arena, sure, you can see how my frame rate is just destroyed by this area. Yeah. So it's
Easy
nighttime
living,
now, so you
this
could
ain't.
most probably see all the settlers beginning to gather around there. So this tower is actually broadcasting the TV signal from inside out away. So I'm gonna quickly pop away and turn off the lights so you guys can actually visually see what it's like if there's a power outage and you were to be attacking this place. So you guys can really get a feel of how this place becomes
Yes?
quite eerie without any electricity. So if we move up here to the walkway, you can actually... this just has to be freaking space settlers. It's okay though. So you guys can actually see how
If we had a good
crazy
supply of clean
scary
water,
this actually becomes.
things would be pretty good.
Lost track of how many blisters I got.
Let's just do this. If we can't go through them, go around them, right? You guys can actually see how vicious that becomes. If we walk on in through here, dude. So that didn't go as planned. Now, everybody. Kill me. No one's killing me. Why is no one killing me? I thought they were like... So yeah, you guys can really see how eerie the arena itself becomes without any power. So I quite enjoyed doing this build, to be fully honest with you. I made a complete backstory for the place, and then I fragmented it. Exactly like the game was made, how they took Boston, made a new version of it, and then they fragmented it. So I definitely enjoyed this build, man. Like, it was so much fun. If we pop on down here, I don't know how much you'll be able to see. Let me quickly go turn on the lights. I know what to do. And look how gorgeous this place looks at night, man. Hot diggity damn.
Got work to do. Can't talk now.
Yeah, you can really see it at nighttime. Yeah, you guys can really appreciate the farming installation at night as well. It really just comes alive. Game almost froze. Really proud it didn't. Okay, if we pop over to our little settlement, you can see how it's using the fence as protection. It's got a little sub fence. Our working benches are outside along with our own water supply. Our own dog's kennel as well. We're gonna plant some plants. That's the word. Jeez, like it. Couple of ammunition boxes outside there. You can see all of our cat bowl firstly, then our bobbleheads, and then there's our weapon power armor workstation. That's the words I was looking for. Our own little TV den so we can watch a gladiator match if we're not willing to walk inside, or it's at a different settlement. There's that too. Our chem lab, your trespassing.
Need to get
friend.
back to Diamond City one
This
of
is our
these
working
days.
desk.
Biggest
As you can see,
town
we've
I
got a
ever saw.
railroad banner up right now. We just finished our railroad playthrough. And so yeah, this is our settlement. I'm gonna quickly take you to the actual cleaning entrance. So I've already opened it up over here, so you can see I've turned on the power, and you can see that this is where the cleanup crew would walk in. So our winning team would walk back into their quarters, go up to the clinic if they need to, and then the dead team, they would in fact be cleared out through this way. And you might have caught in the beginning phases of the video the meat bags in front of the settlement over there. So they're being left out for the super mutants and other nasty creatures in such a way that it actually acts as a tribute, so they do not attack
Hi,
us.
how are you?
To say
It's
the least.
astounding how much we
So
still
yeah, that
have
is
to
the actual
discover.
build, guys.
Yeah?
Damn. Really catch a proper view of this thing. Of how big it is. How detailed and almost how much volume this structure actually holds. For moving around here. It's insane. And, you know, with the robots quest, rescue road robots from the Mechanist DLC, we can actually see a lot more settlers come into this town. So right now I've got 80 plus beds.
I must
If I
apologize
quickly
for
hop
the
into
odd
the
noises I'm currently emitting.
workbench.
A consequence of
Yeah,
being
I've got
mechanical
82
in nature.
beds, 400 defense, 400 power, 55 water, that can always be increased, 55 food because I don't have all of these crops assigned to, and we've got 40
lead the
people
way
right
and
now.
I'll follow, sir.
So as promised, let's go into the NPC battle. We're gonna do it now at night time. Oh, you can see how all the
Yes?
dwellers are
Huh?
actually
Back hurts. Feet hurt.
gathering around, including the captain. The guy's meant to be protecting you guys. Minuteman's going out on patrol. Just look at that settlement. Okay, to the NPC battle. Alrighty guys, so you guys can see how they've all filed in. I've signaled for the games to begin. So I think we're going to kick it off right away. Yeah, we're going to do this straight up. So let's do this. Yeah. Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay. I just need to get inside there quickly. Not a problem. So we're just gonna quickly do this. Okay. Let's spawn in the blue team, the home team. The Minuteman. There we go. I think I'm gonna give you guys a view from the inside of the arena, so it's gonna be exclusive. There we go. There's no getting out now, folks. Here we go, here we go.
Hey!
Incoming! There we go.
Oh, no, you don't. Let's do this! A lot of blood!
Listen to them cheering. Oh. Looks like they've got fiery weapons. Oh, we have a BOS down. We have a BOS down. Minutemen are still going strong. Home team advantage. Home team advantage. Here we go. Here we go. Should we quickly have some slow-mo? Oh, you see that bullet? Listen to the screams. People are just cheering them on. Oh, this Minuteman is just taking all the blunt force here. Oh, you guys all saw that, right? Look at these guys. This guy's on fire, literally. Oh. Let's take a view of the home team quickly. Up, they're shooting at the floor. Oh, we've lost one. So we're 1 for 1 right now, folks. 2 for 1. We got 1 BOS down. This guy's on fire. That's how the last guy won. Or lost. Oh god, we lost one. That's 3 versus 1. I'm only counting. Okay, no, we've got 4 minutes left. Oh, he lost his arm. Oh god. Oh god. And the Minutemen are victorious. Woo! They've only lost 1 soldier. That is insane. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. That's just a prequel to what we're going to be doing on our channel from this moment onwards. When I show you guys my next settlement, Abernathy Farm, you guys will see their arena, their training arena. So this is actually a show arena. It's not a training arena. So yeah, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and definitely leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed this content, give it a share, and yeah, guys, follow me on social media to get notifications, or hit the bell notification below you, just next to my subscribe button, and that way you guys can get notified whenever I release a new video. So yeah, guys, friendly Liamki, goodbye.